to LadyRo's Queendom, where we nurture, cultivate, and awaken your inner queen. Clap your hands, stomp your feet. Welcome to LadyRo's Queendom. Yeah. Oh, LadyRo's Queendom. Well, LadyRo's Queendom. LadyRo's Queendom. Come on, LadyRo's Queendom. LadyRo's Queendom. LadyRo's. Your crown is waiting.
Hello, 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 and welcome to LadyRo's Queendom. Give me a minute and let me plug the right mic in. Give me 1 second. I thought I had this sucker connected, and I did not. It's gonna take a second. Let me see. All right, I believe we're ready. We in this thing like a chicken wine. How y'all doing? How are y'all doing? I have been looking at some things and going pondering some things, trying to decide which way I wanted to take tonight. But I think we're gonna do some talking. How about that? I pulled up some things for us to look at. But I want to talk. But I watched some reviews today, and some I agreed with, some I did not. Excuse me, why am I yawning? But we're gonna talk about it. Good evening, Sparkles, my love, and love married Huntsville sector queen. I wouldn't go there, but thank you. Welcome in. Hey, Symmetry. Good evening, Lady Ron Chat. Good evening, living for me. Good evening, Lady Ron Chat. Please hit that like button, comment, share, and subscribe. Please do those things. Please, please, please. Let's do our quick disclaimer. Lady Rose Queendom disclaimer. All things are alleged. They're in my opinion, and they are for entertainment purposes only, as we all add. So, I mean, get in here and put some things in here. Welcome to Lady Rose Queen, where we nurture, cultivate, and awaken your inner queen. Please like, show some love and support. Please comment, because we love a healthy dialogue. Share the tea, spread the word, subscribe. Subscriptions help the channel grow, and tap that notification bell so you'll know every time that I'm live. When you get on it, click all, and it'll tell you every time I'm live. Symmetry speaking. So y'all, let's just, we're gonna have this a healthy dialogue tonight, and let's just talk for a little bit. I've actually, like I said, combing the YouTube streets, looking for things, trying to see if there was something amongst the ladies that maybe I missed. Good evening, Brown Girls Rocks. You said we in here after dark. Hey y'all. Yes, and I had to put my moo on. I was intending to go live at 8 o'clock, and I was like, where is my moo? I still got on my work clothes. Let me go take a shower and put my moo on and fix me a hot glass of water. I drink cappuccino before bed. So that's what I'm actually drinking. I had to boil me some water and fix my cappuccino. But yeah, we're down here to talk. And tonight's topic on LadyRo After Dark is simply going to be Shamia versus Portia. Is this really about jealousy, loyalty, or is this something deeper? And after watching, like I said, I watched several content creators. I've today, because I worked from home, catching up on some paperwork while since I've been on vacation, and a lot of stuff waiting on me. And I have the TV on. Sometimes I can hear it. Sometimes I look up at it. But for the most part, I did hear bits and pieces of things, and made me second guess that I really watched the show this weekend, or did I see something that others didn't see? I heard that possibly Shamia or Portia was jealous of Shamia because Shamia had the life that Portia wants. I heard a lot of things. Um, and I think that the one thing that I want to say Shamia has a lot going on as well. Portia had the show, but Shamia is trying to get into acting. Shamia hosted the 2025 BET Awards. She actually is a host for the Atlanta Falcons. She is an announcer and a host for the Atlanta Hawks. She does a lot of things. She hosted the red carpet last year for, what was it? I think the MTV Awards. She hosted the red carpets. So the red carpet. So I really don't think it's jealousy, right? I think it's deeper than that. That's just my personal opinion. We gonna get in the comment section because we're gonna talk this out. Because I want to make sure that I am on the right track. I don't want to be thinking something that's not true. You know what I mean? So again, tonight's topic is Shamia versus Portia. Is this really about jealousy, loyalty, or is this something deeper? So, anywho, welcome back to LadyRo's Queendom, and this is LadyRo After Dark, where we put our comfy moo on and spur a glass of wine, kick off our shoes, and have some grown folk conversation. Tonight, we're talking about one of the biggest storylines coming out of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Shamia versus Portia. We're coming to the season is coming up on a close. I kind of thought again too today, why did they film the reunion so early? I mean, because if you think about it, it was filmed a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and here we come with this big storyline, this great big storyline that you would have thought they would have wanted to use for the reunion. Because one thing we know, this went through the editing floor, and all of the scenes have been filmed before they decided to even do reunion. So they knew what was coming up the ladder. So why did they decide to actually, film it so soon? Film the reunion so soon, knowing that this episode was coming. Brown Girls Rock says it's something, and I wish they would get it together. My God, today. Me too. Me too. Me too. Portia posted this today, and I thought I would share it. I'll say today was last night. And it said, imagine being under my spell and I didn't cast one. Imagine that. So again, I got a lot of things I want to talk about, some things I found, some things I want to discuss, but let's get into it. Let's talk about it. I want you to know that tonight isn't about attacking anybody, either of these women. It's not about whether I like Portia, whether I like Shamia. It's about looking at what we've watched, discussing the facts that were shown on television, and hearing different opinions. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Everyone is welcome to disagree respectfully, because that is what makes conversations fun. If we can talk about it, you may not see eye to eye with me, but I can get your side of the conversation. So let's get into it. One thing that caught my eye, and one thing that I thought about this morning as I was getting ready for work, was that Shamia asked Portia about Pilar coming to play with her children, her daughters. And she said she would hope that their relationship would not interfere with their daughters, with their girls. And she said, I don't think anyone here will do anything to deserve the chair. Me either, Living For Me, because Living For Me has a variety of chairs. And depending on what you've done, she will pull out a chair so you can have a seat. But we love that about Living For Me. She keeps ordering in the court. She keeps ordering down right there in the chat room. Shamia talked about Pilar not being allowed to hang out with her girls. And then she it's past my bedtime, I guess, because I'm yawning like crazy. I did get up early this morning. The one thing that stood out to me was that she said that Portia said she was like a sister. And, you just said that the only person you would allow to talk to you that way, you still would allow them to, your daughter to go over their house. will be your sister, blood sister, is what I guess Portia was hinting at. But Shamia said, well, you said I was like your sister. But if we think back to this season, there was a come to America party or a traditional Kenyan party that Shamia gave to Gerald. And if you remember, she did not extend the invitation to Portia. She left Portia off the list. I want to say she left Drew and she left Angela off the list. But you want my daughter to come to your house, but you didn't think we're filming a television show, but you didn't think enough of me knowing that this show was being filmed and it was you were hosting it at your home to invite me to the show, but you want my daughter to come to your house and play. And I think that was kind of absurd for Shamia to think that. I really do. You said if need be, I need a big back chair. Brown Girls Rock said she gonna need a big chair. Live for me one with a big back, sturdy. She probably wants some cushions. So see if you can find one of those queen chairs in the back. But the next crazy part was on that same traditional Kenyan party, Dennis received an invitation. So that definitely raises an eyebrow for me because if Portia was at any point supposed to be your best friend and like your sister, why would you send her ex-fiance, ex-boyfriend, baby daddy an invitation before you bothered to send one to her because you wanted to keep the kids flowing, right? So on the flip side, I really don't get Shamia's issue with why she thought that Pilar should come over her house. So here's my question to you guys. If you leave me off your guest list for an important family event, can you really be surprised if I start creating boundaries when it comes to my child? Right? Because Portia gave a party at the beginning of the season. Hey, Passion. She gave a party at the beginning of the season, right? And at the beginning of the season, I believe it was the first episode, she invited everybody. Everybody was invited, pretty much saying we're gonna work together. This is gonna be cordial. And Shamia came. She came late. She wasted alcohol in the foyer of the home. Her and Pinky both did. But you didn't think enough of her to invite her to Gerald's party, but you want her to bring her daughter to you to hang out. So tell me something. Do you think I'm reaching? What do y'all think about that? Brown Girls Rock said, I'll put them together if need be. Oh, she gonna put you some chairs together. Passion says, good evening, ladies, and live for me, Symmetry and Sparkle. Brown Girls Rocks. If I missed anyone, love for you as well, Lady Rose. Sun's still hot here, 95 degrees, second days. Ooh, honey, it rained here today, so it actually cooled. When I say it cooled it off so much that I ran upstairs. So I was working downstairs, ran upstairs, cut the AC off up here, ran downstairs and cut the unit off down there, and I just opened up the doors. I opened up the doors and a couple of windows and just got some fresh air in here. And I just cut the AC on a few minutes ago to get it nice and cool before we go to bed because neither I nor my husband like to sleep if it's hot. So definitely understand that warm weather. You stay cool up there in Southern California. Y'all stay cool. I know y'all don't have a bunch of air conditioners up there too, or y'all don't like to use them. Something of that nature. I went to my cousin's house. I'm like, it's hot. Brown Girls Rock says, I agree either way with that analogy. Okay, so the very fact that Portia extended an invitation to Shamia and her husband, Shamia did not do the same thing, but she wants them to allow her daughter. She wants Portia to allow her daughter to continue to come over her house, which like I said, I kind of found was weird. My next thing that I thought about was, is Shamia really the victim? Because she really wants, I don't say she wants, I believe she really thinks she's the victim. I really believe in her heart of hearts that she thinks she's the victim. This season has painted Shamia as someone who's been overlooked or everybody's kind of piled upon her, right? She says she's been a loyal friend, and we do know that at some point or another, let me see if I can pull this up. She actually at some point or another, she was Portia's lapdog. This actual picture was 274 weeks ago, but she says on my lapdog, guard dog ish. Hashtag RHOA 13 at Portia for real. She hasn't removed any pictures of Portia off of her page, but you see what I just saw. She said that, she thought she was a lapdog. So we know that Shamia tend to have taken up for Portia, right? She tend to have always been on Portia's side. She said she was a supportive friend, the one who always had Portia's back. But here's where I struggle. Can someone be both a victim and also make decisions that contribute to the breakdown of the friendship? And I do believe that Shamia helped make decisions in their relationship that helped break down that friendship. Because relationships don't usually fall apart because of one person. It takes two people to be in a relationship. It takes two people to destroy it or to break it down. They break down from years of misunderstanding, hurt feelings, unmet expectations, and lack of communications. So I want to know, is Shamia truly the victim? Do you feel like she's the victim? Because I don't. Or is the truth somewhere right there in the middle? Passion says the not inviting, the Simon jokes, the Mohawk wig, and then not inviting me, invite baby daddy, would invite Simon. Guess what? As a cancer, we're done without announcement. Agreed. Agreed. I agree with that. Live for me said exactly. Definitely takes two. And symmetry speaking of passion. I definitely agree with that. And I don't think it's just even you as a cancer. I'm not a cancer. I'm a Sagittarius. And I will tell you this, that I will walk away too. And I don't make announcements. I just exit. I just exit. I have a tendency not even to say goodbye. Just be gone. Just block you from the phone. No, with no conversations. Because I've tried to explain to you over time and you didn't get it. So okay, I'm done. I'm not gonna keep trying to explain this. Did Portia ask Shamia to defend her, be her lapdog, or was that Shamia's choice? It was definitely her choice. And she said that. She said that on a live, that it was her choice to be the lapdog. She didn't have to be the lapdog. That was her way of, I guess she said, trying to show loyalty. So I'm not sure. Brown Girls Rock said she definitely did not have her back when the KKK entered the scene. Oh, never that. Never that. And that's a whole other situation, right? So my next thing is that, was Shamia lying? Or was the information that she gave out at the table, was it just simply irrelevant? Was it a lie? Or was it just simply irrelevant? One of the biggest talking points this season has been Portia accusing Shamia of lying, and because Portia did say, "Oh, you're lying," right? You stop while you're lying. No, I'm not lying. I'm not lying. But here's where I think the conversation gets a little more complicated. From what we've seen, the statement Shamia made wasn't really about her relationship with Portia at all. It involved something that concerned her parents. It was never about what they had going on amongst themselves, what Portia may have going on among, just with her, or what Shamia has going on. It was all about their mothers, right? So my question is, was Shamia actually lying, or was she sharing information that simply wasn't relevant to the issue that the two of them were arguing about? Because you started with the daughter. Now you're over here with the mama. And neither one of those things had anything to do with the relationship that you and Portia had, because you and Portia were friends before you married Gerald and before she married Simon. Y'all were already friends. Y'all were friends before there were ever any children involved. Y'all were friends. Take it back. When she was with Cordell, her first marriage. And trust, believe me or not, we're gonna get into some things in a few minutes. You said the candy color click. There you go. I got you. I kind of figured it had something to do with candy. We're gonna get into it in a minute about something that I found while snooping again, looking around. About Shamia. Shamia, Gerald is not her first husband. Y'all do know that, right? She was married prior to. She had a relationship kind of like um Cordell. I don't think he was quite as bad, but I think he was close to it. And I want to say he was abusive to her, allegedly. But I believe that's what I had read that he was. But he had also dated Phaedra. So we're gonna talk about that in a minute. You said sharing those therapist texts with Britt crossed the line, in my opinion. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. And last season, Shamia and Portia sat down at the table and they tried to have a conversation, but it's hard for us to talk if you're constantly going to be talking over me and thinking that you're right when you're never hearing my side of the story. So, Brown Girls Rocks, I am totally in agreement with you. Someone can tell the truth, but if that truth has nothing to do with the disagreement at hand, it can still distract from the real issue. And I believe that is what Shamia was doing. I believe she was really trying to cause a distraction from the issue that her and Portia really had going on. The parents are a whole different issue. Their children are a whole different issue. But the very fact that Shamia had been talking to Drew, to Angela, to Britt about Portia, all of that compiled, Portia did not like it. And she's well within her rights to be upset about that, right? So instead of focusing on why the friendship was falling apart, the conversation suddenly became about whether Shamia was honest, right? Because I hear a lot of people saying, well, Shamia didn't lie. Well, Shamia did. How do you know Shamia didn't lie? How do you know any of that's the truth, right? How do we know that? How do we know that? That any of that is the truth? Let me see if I can pull up that picture. Did I pull that picture in here? I did, but let me pull up a picture. Miss Diane is a beautiful woman, right? None of us can take that away from her. She is a beautiful woman. And I think as a mother, I've said this in my previous conversation, that as a mother, Miss Diane is giving her daughter advice just like Shamia's mother is giving her advice. That's what mothers do. That's what my mom has done. I'm sure that's what a lot of you guys' mom has done over the years. She gives you advice because her job is to keep you from steering off course. Is to keep you kind of entangled and in line in the right way to go. But I found this here on social media under Portia's brother's page, Lorenzo. And Lorenzo is named after his father, Hosea Lorenzo Williams III. And this is a picture of Hosea Jr., or they're not junior, he's a second, and Miss Diane back in the day. This woman was married to this man. She had 2 children by him. Do I believe that Miss Diane literally was trying to sleep with Shamia's mom? I mean, Shamia's daddy? I don't know if I believe that. And even if I believe it, I don't know if I want to believe it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if I care enough to believe it. Passion said, woman, LadyRo, a sage will professionally and academically tell you what you need to work on with your next friend. But when they're done with you, you won't get to cross them again. I don't know how you know, but baby, you got it. You got it. You got it. I blocked a friend and she has tried her best to get in touch with me. She done sent messages by the pigeon, baby. And she still gets ignored. I don't understand why. Because you know what you did to destroy our friendship. So I don't know why you be playing with me, but girl, go on with your life. Brown Girls Rock says, and I think people calling Miss Diane out of her name is so distasteful and disgusting. I totally agree. I believe that we as a nation have really forgotten that we're to respect our elders. I don't care how grown. My mom always said, I don't care how old you get, you'll never be as old as I am. And I had to realize she didn't mean in a physical age. She meant the very fact is I could never catch up with her in age because she was older. I was trying to obtain the age she was at. So that meant I needed to respect her because of her wisdom, her knowledge. And that's why we respect our elders out of just pretty morals. But I see a lot of people don't have morals, because why in the world would you get down there and say, and you did it with your head like you was telling her the God honest truth, and it was a fact. Because I'm gonna tell you this: if you knew it, whoever told you this, you was not there. You don't know for a fact that it happened. You know what you've been told. Just like Portia knew what she had been told. So y'all just slinging accusations at each other about each other's mother. So my question is to you guys: did Portia call Shamia a liar because she truly believes she lied, or did the conversation get sidetracked by an issue that wasn't really at the heart of the friendship problem? And that's something that I really want us to zone in on, is that one. Number 4, what really is the root of this friendship falling apart? We know the argument that they just had at this table. This did not start this. This started last season, right? And I think people are online arguing about where it started. How did it start? But if we go back, Portia and Shamia have had a contentious friendship for a while. I'm going to play something for you. Like I told you guys that Phaedra had a relationship with Shamia's first husband, right? And I want you guys to listen to it. I think this is it. Is this it? Yeah, listen at this. I'm going to be stopping it every few minutes because of copyright issues.
Like walking past, and she's like, excuse me. And then at another event, she was just like, I can't believe you put a ring on her and you never got serious with me. I'm like,
is that what he said? She said.
So when you can do that, I don't put past you.
But we're talking about a specific rumor at this point. If you've been
okay, so let me take it and rewind it back a little bit. So Shamia is talking about the very fact that she felt like when she was married to her first husband that Phaedra was trying to get him in the, the sheet, or trying to turn him on. I'm not really sure, but we do know that there was some type of relationship between Phaedra and the first husband. So as she's talking about it, Portia didn't disrespect Shamia, but she didn't like the conversation. She's not frowning or anything. She just changed the subject immediately. Because you know what? Portia respected Phaedra. And this is an old video. Let me see how old this is. This is old. When is this clip from? I can't see when it was from. Yeah, but she switched. Portia flipped that conversation to somewhere else. Let's see what else she talked about in there.
best friends speak on something, it's almost like that make it true. Any hoe can say anything all day long. But if my best friend were to speak those things on me and on my life, it's like a confirmation.
So what Portia's saying, if your best friend says that this happened, people that are around you they would tend to believe your best friend because that's your best friend. She knows the ins and the outs of what your relationship was like previously, right? So, and I believe that speaks a lot about why Phaedra and why Portia and Shamia couldn't get along, because Shamia talked, she said in this last episode, I talk too much. And if you go back through a lot of scenes, a lot of episodes throughout different seasons, because Shamia has been a friend of the show for a while, right? And during the years that she's been on there, Shamia has always talked too much. She's always spilled her guts, always said a little more than she probably should have, because she's telling this. I didn't show it because I don't want a copyright strike, because they're bad on visuals. But she's telling this information to Sheree. Sheree's there, and Portia knows that Sheree is a bone carrier. So Portia tried to flip the subject and change the conversation because she knew Sheree's gonna go back and tell this. But Shamia don't have enough common sense or the wherewithal to know that there are some conversations you should not have in front of other people, especially things of that nature. He said, "Oh, so that's the main reason why Faye and Shamia they don't like you. That's why. That's why they don't like each other." First husband was King Solomon Smallwood Jr. Thank you, Symmetry. Thank you very much. You said, Symmetry, what kind of name is that? Exactly. But in doing so, Shamia actually, like I said, was out here running her mouth, talking a little too much, and she just was talking too much, giving all the information away, giving out to the wrong people, the information getting the wrong hands. That's why Portia was like, "Hey, if my best friend said I did X, Y, Z, then people they will probably believe my best friend versus believing me." We're gonna listen to this too. This is actually Faye or Phaedra talking about said incident with Shamia. Let's go.
The fact that you had liked her husband back in the day.
Well, people say Shamia sleep with everybody's husband, but who talk about that? You know, I ain't anything.
Yeah, that.
So they whisper, right? They try to keep it from the camera. She said, "You know, her and Candy like this," and Phaedra has her fingers crossed. And I don't know who on the other side. I want to say it's Sheree. And now Phaedra has her thumb and her trigger finger rolled up together like a circle, and her finger going in and out, saying, "You know, they sleep with each other, both men and women."
They best friend.
Wait, Candy is who?
And Sheree at the table. Because Sheree, I'm sorry, not Sheree. Sheree is the one who brought it back to Faye. So Portia's there because Portia knew she had to defend Shamia because Shamia talked too much in front of Sheree. So Sheree is ready to tell Phaedra, "Hey, Shamia said that you was tooting your booty up all in front of her ex-husband and that you was trying to sleep with him and you done slept with all these people." So Portia's there to try to defend her friend. This is crazy. Listen to this.
You a motherfucking liar. You knew that?
They are really close.
But you think that too?
I mean, she close to both of them.
She does her.
Now you heard what Portia said. Now I don't know, Portia should have been doing that, but Portia, she agreed with Faye that Shamia was doing both Todd and Candy. That's what she agreed with. You said where everybody go in the chat. I don't know where they at. You can't say them. So I just think that this friendship has been falling apart for years, right? And I think the very fact that the more they're making a TV show, even though it's a reality show, it's scripted, right? I ain't gonna say scripted. They have to put on for the show, right? You got to make the show worth people watching. So some of this was for the TV show. So over the years, we noticed that the relationship has been falling apart. And I don't know so much if Shamia was talking about Portia back then, right? But when Portia's sitting at the table with Sheree and Phaedra starts talking, Portia did agree. I will say that. I think this has been, like I said, I think this has been building for years. You said, did you find the clip where Shamia was showing her and Portia's text messages to Sheree? I didn't even look for that. I should have looked for that one, but I may do that one for next week's review on this Real Housewives of Atlanta, because Shamia has been running her mouth for a very long time throughout the seasons. If you can remember back to the grand opening of Kenya Moore Hair Care, Kenya Moore had the bottles sitting on counters, and they were just up there for a display. And Shamia went and took the cap off of it and drunk it and said, "Oh, it's just water. It's just water." And they made a big deal out of that, right? Burn Girls Rock said, "I don't think Portia should have said that. However, like I said, Shamia let the KKK run down Portia." So I agree with you. I think that they both, like I said, I believe that this relationship took two people to build. It took two people to tear it apart. And I really think that the very fact that Candy, the Candy Coated Clique, became friends with Shamia is one thing. I heard somebody say today that Candy is the reason why Shamia was actually even on the show, that it wasn't Phaedra. I mean, that it wasn't Portia, but it was Candy. Let me see if I can find what I found. Give me a minute. Is this it? No, that's not it. Give me a minute. Yeah, there was it. Okay, here we go.
Even though I met Shamia through Portia, Shamia and I.
What'd she say? I'm gonna play it back for the people in the back. For the people who keep getting out here screaming that Candy already knew Shamia before she met Portia. That Candy was the one that got her on the show. When we all know that she came on as a friend of Portia's. Let's go.
Girl, even though I met Shamia through Portia, Shamia and I are really cool.
Hi, ladies.
Well, damn.
Bienvenido a Miami.
She's getting married to this really great guy.
Well, we don't want to hear all that. But a lot of people say that this is why Shamia's on the show. Now, I pulled another little clip. Let me see if I can pull it up. Because we're just going to kind of just run through some lies. You said a dumb one can't stand Portia, allegedly. It ain't allegedly, it's the truth. He get over there and be hating on poor Portia on that live. And I think it's because Portia had a little incident with, what is that girl's name that's a part of the clique? I want to say Jackie, but I know that's not it. Whoever the lady is who be interviewing, who used to be behind the cameras with Candy when she was doing her speak on it. Her important Jamie, that's her name. I don't know why I want to say Jackie. Jamie and Portia had an incident. If y'all remember, it was a scene where Portia is running with she has a costume on and she's chasing down somebody and girl got them hands are swinging. That was a part of the Candy Coated Clique. And they really started hating on her strong then. You said the clique never liked Portia. They didn't. Because at Shamia's bridal shower, Carmen is sitting there. It's Carmen, Shamia, Candy, and Portia. And I think Lauren was there as well. Portia's saying, I can't fly because I'm having some health issues. And Shamia said, but this is my wedding. She said, but I'm telling you, there's something wrong with my health. And Carmen said, she can't fly because she can't keep her legs down that long. She's used to her legs being up in the air. So they've always had their guns out for Portia. And you know how long it's been since Carmen was on any episode. Brown Girls Rock says she was once Portia's assistant also. That's true. Jamie did once work for Portia. She worked for Portia first. Correct. So, trying to see, did I pull up the video? I think this is it. Let's go. Let's see.
To say, I didn't want you on the show.
Yes, I asked you about that, and you showed me your receipts of how you did not say that you only wanted me to be a friend on this show, how you want to be a housewife. Anything that.
But I didn't know I was going to be able to do it because the day that they came to test shoot me, we had a plan to do it.
So I pulled this video because I got this from Real Housewives of Atlanta receipts. So although she's saying that Portia didn't want her to be on the show, let's listen and see who really didn't want her to be on the show.
I look out the window and he's hauling ass out the driveway. He was out of here. I was like, So my husband just left. He's got cold feet. He does not want.
So your interview with Bravo, your husband went out the back door and got in his car and left. But Portia didn't want you to be on the show, right?
To do it. And they're like, what? Oh my God.
Because I know her husband went with it, but
because ultimately my husband didn't really want his.
These are clips. The second one was her and Candy talking about the husband didn't want her on the show. And this is her with another interview.
Out there like that. He's very mild-mannered, very low-key. So we'd been approached a couple times to actually do the show.
Yeah.
And finally, he's just like, he's like, okay, I'll try.
Yeah.
Because you can't be a full-time house.
So was it Portia that didn't want you on the show? Tell us.
Housewife if your spouse won't sign on to be a part of it with you. A lot of people.
You can't be a full-time housewife if your spouse won't sign on to go on the show with you. Y'all heard it, right? I just want to make sure it wasn't just me that heard it. Let's go.
People don't understand that because it is housewife. It wasn't that he didn't want me to do it. He was like, go do it. And they were like, yeah, no, not without him. Bring him kids.
Right.
Maybe they got there. He saw them cameras go up. I started getting like, they're like, we'll mic you next. We looked out the window. Gerald was pulling out the driveway.
There she go. That's another interview. So far, that's 5 interviews we've listened to. Here's a 6th one.
Truly was. Candy can vouch, just so can Portia. The problem is when you are a peach holder, you have to show all of your life. And that includes my husband.
Yes.
This is our interview with the Jasmine brand.
And whereas he supports me being a part of Real Housewives of Atlanta, he doesn't want to be a part of it. So I have to respect that.
You wanted me as a friend to show some of the same ladies that used to be.
Now you are lying. Andy, have I always wanted Shamia to be on the show as a housewife?
Yes.
Yes. So moving.
So was it Portia or was it Gerald? Why are you really mad, Shamia? Why are you really mad, Shamia? And people just ignore all of that backstory. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They've ignored it all. She's gone from interview to interview to interview to interview saying, oh, my husband don't want me on the show. But now we got to say that it was Portia. You said, live for me. Ah, cool. I was just going to call LadyRo on the landline. Thank you. I feel better now. You thought they had put me off the show. I mean, put me off YouTube. So my question is with this, the dynamic can create, when real friendships change and one person becomes the star and the other person is constantly standing behind them or beside them, the lapdog. Remember, I showed y'all the picture where she said she was the lapdog. When you have that, the dynamic can really create a resentment on both sides. It can create resentment from Shamia that Portia, she doesn't feel like Portia wants her on the show. And it can create resentment from Portia that Shamia is being so persistent and always in my space. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be looked at a lot of different ways. LadyRo, who's Shamia saying that to? She said it on different interviews. She said that on 6 different interviews that her husband didn't want her on the show, that when it was time, you have to sign the contract, her husband has to be there, he would leave. But she blamed it on Portia. I think, my personal opinion, I think Shamia just got a lot of stuff going on. She's trying to have a baby boy. Shamia has a daughter, Shia. She had her first pregnancy. She said everything went fine, no problems. I think Shamia is either 43 or 45. Second baby, she did through surrogacy. And there was some complications. The baby's had a really hard struggle at the beginning of her life. She's still very young. And we even heard her on the show saying, I don't know if Shiloh's going to be my forever baby. You know what I'm saying? But that she wants to give her husband a son. Now, is he pressuring her for the son? Because we did see him come into the closet and tell her that, we need to talk about this surrogate and what we're going to do. We have a male embryo here and a male embryo here. And she's like, what if it didn't take? And we do know that they've had either 2 or 3 failed attempts at another surrogate, right? And she got pregnant naturally, and then it was a tubal pregnancy. So she's had a lot going on. And I just wonder how much of that has contributed and she brought it on the show because, as we've seen, let me address a Live for Me first. That Carlos made a joke out of it too. He did make a joke out of it when he went over there and talked to him. But we've seen on the show where Shamia has gotten into it with Drew. We've seen her get into it with K. Michelle, Portia, Cynthia. And as much as she said that she didn't really talk a lot about it, she did. When we watched it back on the show, it was Shamia that was talking. She said maybe Kelly was doing it, but I heard Shamia doing a lot of talking about the in Dallas, the place being dirty, and how they just kept it was Shamia, it was Pinky, K. Michelle, they all were coming down on Cynthia as though she did something wrong. And all she was doing was hosting the trip, right? So I think it's really hard when you have a lot of stuff going on. You tend to start taking it out on everybody. Not only that, Shamia was put out in the pool house with Kelly instead of in the main house with the main cast, with Portia. And she was put out in the pool, and she didn't like that. So that was one strike, right? So that was strike. It wasn't against Portia, but it was a strike against the group. The place was dirty. That's a second strike. And she's been acting out ever since. Symmetry says she's gotten into it with everyone except Pinky and Kelly. Exactly. Exactly, she has. And the crazy part, when she got into it with K. Michelle addressed it with her, and she still, I don't think, really wanted to take accountability for it. She did not. In fact, she went on, I want to say, Carlos King's interview and tried to debunk what K. Michelle said. But K. Michelle actually addressed her face to face about it. Passion said, but look how her being on as a peach holder is turning out. It's not turning out good at all. And that's the second thing I want to talk about. Let me finish this point. So my question is, what is really underneath all of this crap? Is it jealousy? Is it control? Is it miscommunication? Is it competition? Or is it years of unresolved hurt? Is this just years of them being friends, bickering back and forth, never taking resolve, just always moving forward, never really sitting in it and healing it, right? The next thing I want to talk about is Shamia being the sidekick versus her being the full-time housewife, right? This was very interesting to me because for years, we knew Shamia as Portia's friend, not just simply Shamia, the one that would be hanging with hanging with Portia. But we got to know Shamia through social media, being a girl for the Hawks, for the Falcons, being everyone's best friend down to social. Hey, best friends. I absolutely loved it. I have followed her story of her family. I believe she has a beautiful family. And I want to say this right in here, right now. Shamia actually is literally the perfect housewife. She has the rich husband. She has the family. She has the cars. She's on this show. And instead of her showing us the bridge games, a day at the tennis court, or a day taking us shopping, or a day doing the things that housewives do, she hasn't. She's been fighting with every single person instead of showing us that she literally is the quote unquote typical housewife. Think about it. As a housewife, let's talk about, let me see, who can I bring out? Married to Medicine's, what is her name? Eugene and Toya Bush Harris. Toya Bush Harris is indeed a married to medicine wife. She fits the bill. You know why? She has the husband who makes the money. She has the house. She has the vehicles. She has the family. And you know what Toya does? She's shown us the elaborate parties that she's thrown and what it takes and what she puts into the parties to make them flourish. She's shown us her playing tennis. She actually showed us when she was learning how to play tennis. She showed us her nagging old Eugene to get a pool built in the back, right? So I don't understand why Shamia didn't take the reins. Now I heard a content creator say today, and I'm gonna mention it. I ain't gonna mention the content creator name, but I'm gonna mention what he said. He said that Portia was jealous of Shamia because Shamia had everything that she aspired to have: the husband, the family, the car, all the things, right? You said she acts so unhappy. That's proof that money can't buy happiness. You're so right, Virgo's Rocks. You are. When I say you are 100% accurate on that, you are. But this particular content creator said that Portia was jealous because she didn't have all of the things. She didn't have the house on the hill, the cars, the dog, the husband, and the children. She was in a marriage that failed. She I forgot what all he said. But in saying all of that Portia's jealous, not once did he mention that Shamia is so enamored with being the sidekick of Portia's that she cannot handle being a full-time housewife. She can't. Tell me, she was a better friend of the show than she has been as a full-time housewife. She is literally crumbling because she lost her seat at the table with Portia. She is literally having a meltdown because she lost that role with her best friend. And then when she realized that Kelly had made up with Portia and they was tired of fighting each other, now you done took my best friend and you trying to have everything. I can't have nothing. You trying to take my best friend and now she gonna be your friend. And what do I have? Although you have a modeled housewife. If you go down and you look at the definition of housewife, a rich housewife is going to give you some qualities, right? And Shamia will probably fit every bill because her husband's worth millions of dollars. Yet and still, Shamia is unhappy because she has lost her friendship with Portia. When she had and I'm going to tell you what this guy also, this content creator said. He said that Portia got jealous because Shamia came in and she said she was actually born and raised in Atlanta. So she was everybody's best friend. She said that. And she said she was the nucleus to the group. The nucleus. That means she was the center of the group. But being the center of the group has not allowed Shamia to be able to hold the group together. The nucleus keeps the group together. So much and so Cynthia had to come in as a friend of, and her and Phaedra have tried to keep this group grounded. In fact, Cynthia became like the dead mother, trying to keep these people on tag because you know what Shamia want to do? She want to twerk. She want to talk about sex. She over-sexualizes every single thing. But some people have it in their head that Shamia actually was going to be able to control. First episode, I thought, okay, she coming here because she everybody's best friend. But the very fact that she said that in her confessionals and she under-delivered says a whole lot. You hyped this bad boy up, and then you came in here and under-delivered. Live for Me said, I kind of believe that BFF status was gone away before then, in my opinion. Explain what you mean, Living for Me, because I'm really trying to understand. And honestly, in my opinion, Shamia was happier when Portia was getting all of the hate from the audience. I agree, Brown Girls Rocks. I totally agree. Again, you have a group of people saying, hey, Shamia should have been a top girl, the top deputy dog in charge. There was no reason why Portia should have came in because she was about to be out the way. We had a new chief that was coming in here to be the nucleus, but the nucleus couldn't hold the group together. She couldn't. She couldn't even hold herself together. We see how she sat down at that table Sunday and Faraday crashed. You tried to bring up the daughter, that didn't work. So you went over and talked about the mama. And you talk about my mama, I'm telling you, would have been a table flipped on top of your throat. But let's move right along. We back at Shamia. Shamia was introduced through Portia's World, right, to the show. And now that she's finally holding a peach, she's expected to carry her own storyline. And what I'm saying is, I don't believe she could do that. That transition isn't easy. And she's proven that she hasn't been able to transition from being the friend of to being a peach holder. Has Shamia stepped into her own spotlight yet? I think she had her spotlight. And I think she was flowing very well, being a friend of, being a host for the Hawks and the Falcons. I believe she was doing a great job there. But I believe her trying to outshine Portia is not working for her. And I don't think both of these women can shine at the same time. I believe Portia is a veteran at what she does, right? I believe she's a veteran at what she does. I wrote down some things. Is it on this little note, child? I got a bunch of notes here about Portia. I don't know where I put it at. But one thing I do know, Portia is not, you can't just swing a stick at Portia. Portia was on Dish Network, talking about the morning show, doing, talking about different people in the place of it. I'm not gonna say she was a journalist, but she was giving news and information. Portia has Pampered by Portia, which is her chic collection that you can buy on Amazon. And she has an Amazon store. She has Go Naked Hair. She attained a NBC 360 deal. But yet and still, we want to believe that Portia is jealous of Shamia when Portia, in her own right, has created a lane all for herself. I also saw somebody post in some comments earlier today that Portia was not self-made. Portia is self-made. When Portia divorced Cordell, she had nothing. She left that relationship with nothing. Cordell ensured that she left with nothing. He said, oh, she had this, she had a car, she can go back and take that car with her, and she had that condo. That's what he said. Even though she had sold the condo and she had to move back home with her mother. And we saw her driving that Mercedes C300 or E300 was what she, I guess, took it to the marriage and what she left with when the marriage was dissolved. Portia literally had to start over. She had to start over from ground zero. And then you had people waving the penises in her face. Oh, you need a man. You need a man. Constantly. Then we saw Portia, I want a baby. She got the baby. Then the doors started opening up for Portia. Portia got her own little mini series with her and her, what I can say series, 3 episodes. Got little quick little episodes of Portia's family, I believe is what they called it. And then you have Portia getting this 360 deal after her divorce with Simon. With Simon, she came up a little bit, but she didn't come up a lot. She was working at Dish Nation before she met Simon. She had Go Naked Hair before she met Simon. She was actually out there with Pampered by Portia, those sheets, before she met Simon. But people want to believe that she got all this on her back, that she didn't work for any of this. And we heard Simon say his own self that Portia was the hardest woman he's ever met. Simply said, I love those sheets. I ordered a set of them today for my guest room. I wanted a pair of eggplant color sheets, and she was the only one that had some, so I ordered them. Next thing is Portia jealous of Shamia? That's my last topic. This is probably the hottest topic online right now. A lot of people saying that she is. People have pointed to Shamia's marriage, her husband, her family life, her financial security, her music career, her home, all of the things. But we know that Portia had a big, beautiful home that she bought on her own before she got with Dennis, before she got with Simon. Portia had that house, right? Others say that Portia has accomplished plenty on her own and has no reason to be jealous. But here's where I stand. Jealousy is a strong accusation. I say that all the time. I really hate to even use the word jealous when I talk to others. Hey, Queen Script. He said, yeah, they're super soft. I can't wait to get mine, Broncos Rock. I think they'll be delivered tomorrow. I can't wait for Amazon to sling my package at the door. Hey, Queen Script. I know it's late. It's late. Unless someone admits it, we really don't know what's happening in their heart, right? We don't know what's going on with these ladies. And we can discuss the behavior, but do the actions suggest that Portia's insecure, right? Or are people projecting because of how the show is edited? Do you think that it's jealousy or simply two friends just growing apart? What this conversation really reminds me of is that relationships can be complicated. Sometimes we expect people to remain the same forever, but people are constantly evolving, right? And even though you evolve and the love is still there, people grow apart. You know what I mean? The one thing I know is that trust isn't always easy. Once trust has been broken, it isn't always easy to grab that trust and bring it back in. So whether you stand with Portia or you stand with Shamia, or whether you think both women have made mistakes, which I think they both have made mistakes, I think we can all agree that friendships require communication. It requires respect and accountability from both parties involved. I don't know if Shamia and Portia can recover from this one. I think this one may be that straw that broke the camel's back. I believe the very fact that Shamia decided to bring the moms into it. I think that was too much. I think Pilar was too much. And I think the mom was just over the top. Live for Me said, didn't Shamia's family have money too? I think they did. I think they had the daycares, but daycares is a set of, you could be 100,000 air, right? But when you get into that Bravo money, you get into millions, right? And they didn't have Cordell's money. So you go up into millionaires versus people that are making a couple $100,000 a year, right? And able to live a comfortable life, have good credit, able to buy things that they want. And then Shamia married up got a rich partner. So I think that's the whole thing in a nutshell. Envy is when you want something that someone else has. I agree with that, Queen Script. And I believe there may be some envy involved. But I think the biggest part of this is someone talking too much. I believe the mouths are so much. Shamia said something this episode. I want all of us to remember it. She said, Portia can forgive everybody but me. Everybody but, and it made her feel away. You done did something to her, but she forgave you. Her and Angela done got into it. She done said she gonna sleep with Angela's husband. And guess what? Her and Angela back cool. Now her and Kelly done walked around here and said she done slept with every Nigerian in Atlanta. And Kelly said that took that woman's husband, went there and took that woman's husband and I him to say. And now they cool. And she won't forgive me. But she won't forgive me. That stood out to me. Queen Script said jealousy is when you fear losing something you already have to someone else. Thank you for breaking that down for us. Because I think we needed to know. Envy is when you want something someone else has, and jealousy is when you fear losing something you already have to someone else. Love that. Thank you. Passion says, both Living for Me and Brown Girls Rocks has significant points. Add to that the envy and non-climatic first season. There's a deep-rooted conflict in Shamia towards Portia, unfortunately. I agree with that. There is. And I just wonder what that deep-rooted conflict is. But what I do know is I don't think they're going to be able to come back from it. I think that if Portia could ignore it and go on about her life and film with Shamia should have learned to adapt to that. But Shamia could not. She could not. We literally watched her crash out on this past week's episode. You said envy involves 2 people usually, but jealousy involves 3. Oh, come on, girl. Come on, come on. Heck no, Portia's living her best life. I agree. Portia's done. Symmetry, I agree with you 100%. Her dad was a truck driver. So they were living a decent life. Because truck drivers, they make decent money, and her mom owned a daycare. I heard someone say that everybody who owns a daycare is a scam artist. I don't know what that's about. Because, child, we need daycares. Thank God for daycares. I got to keep the little one this weekend. My daughter was like, do you want to pick him up Thursday? That way he doesn't have to go to daycare. Oh, no. He needs to go to daycare on Friday. I'll pick him up Friday at 6 o'clock. What time they close? 6 o'clock. I'll be there at 5:55. He needs to go to daycare. You said dad was a truck driver. Good evening, beautiful traveler. How are you? Hey, sunshine. You said, what is she seeking forgiveness for? That's a good question, Symmetry. And I want to know, girl, what have you done that you need to seek forgiveness for? What have you done? Lied? Or have we lied together? Patrick said many were expecting Portia to be broke down, shamed, and pitiful after Simon, but she seems empowered, and it bothers a lot of people. It does. It does. And the thing is, I love the way she has, hey, you just getting in from the gym. Well, girl, I'm glad you went to the gym. I should have been right there on the side of you, working out too. Honey, I keep saying every day, I'm going to start walking. Every day I will go to the gym and walk because my gym has a track, but I ain't made it there yet. But I'm glad you did, beautiful traveler. That part. Thank God for the Boys and Girls Club. Exactly. But back to Portia and Shamia, I wonder what she does. What is it that you're so, you're seeking forgiveness for? What has happened that you're really not talking about? Because I know it ain't this mama and daddy situation. I know that ain't it. Because they ain't got nothing to do with you. I saw this. Well, I was sent this today. Let me see if I got anything else I need to share before we run away. Yeah, let's go over here. I don't know if I shared this one. Let's share this before we get out of here. I shared that one. I think we talked about we didn't talk about that one. Let's listen to this one.
I introduced Simon to Portia. No. She's my best friend. No.
Listen at this. I want you to hear this again.
In Nashville, you said, I introduced Simon to Portia.
No. She's one more time.
In Nashville, you said, I introduced Simon to Portia. No. She's my best friend.
No, I didn't.
Then you went on
I definitely supported Portia for sure with Simon. I thought they were a beautiful couple, and that's what it was.
That's what you said.
Okay, here goes Portia. She fits the answer.
Shamia introduced you to Simon?
Listen.
Well, but why did you pause? Did she introduce you?
No.
Okay. She said no. Y'all heard it, right? Y'all heard it. She said no. She didn't do it. She said she didn't do it. Let me take this overlay down because I want to share something with you that was sent to me today. And I hope you can see it. This is Portia sitting beside old fun looking Simon. Allegedly fun looking. I don't know if he fun looking. He just ain't my type. Portia said, I'ma stick beside him, right? And Shamia says, up and mother loving stuck with a heart emoji. And let me stop my banner for just 3-4 seconds. Just 3-4 seconds. It says Portia from Portia and Shamia Morton. Thank you, bestie. Best matchmaker ever. What? You just said that you ain't introduced them. See how these lies just keep going. Just lying. One lie after the other. You said I did the Stairmaster treadmill on my arms and I got my I need to get more. I need to get my 10,000 in every day. Patch said the difference is those women aren't as close as her and Shamia. Forgiving them so easily is what an OG has to do because it's about keeping Raw on top. That's the goal, period. I agree with that 100%. Burn Girls Rock says, go back and listen to that car conversation after Shamia and Kelly left the dinner. Shamia says some things that a best friend would never say, whether mad or not. Child, I read it to y'all last night with the crazy girl was in the car. In fact, I pull it up before we get up out of here, just so we can listen to it again. Give me a second. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Child, give me my information back. Move this to another screen so I can see it here. I want to say it was on the last page. She definitely said some things that she probably, if you want to ever have a friendship again with someone, you shouldn't say. But you over here crashing out behind your daddy, Miss Diane wanted to sleep with your dad. She didn't accomplish it, but she wanted to. Girl, get out of here. Sunshine said, if I was Shamia, I would care less about what Portia thinks. Portia can have a jealous streak about her. Anytime she could be jealous of her own sister who got pregnant before her says a lot. Sunshine, I saw that today. I knew people was gonna walk in that one. I knew they was gonna walk in that one. But I'm gonna tell you this. People that are jealous, they don't talk about it. They don't come out to say, I'm jealous. Portia expressed to Lauren that she really wanted a baby, and she was kind of feeling away because Lauren was pregnant first, right? But does that really constitute jealousy? I don't know. I don't think that's it. Portia trying to protect Shamia by lying. There you go. You feeling me, Symmetry. You feeling me. I agree. All right, you sound like that Pillsbury Doughboy that was talking about Phaedra last night. Portia was sticking beside that money. That's all. And you're right, Sunshine. She would. I'm with you when you're right. I'm with you every step of the way. Portia was sticking by that money. You cooking tonight, LadyRo. So in the car, let me see where I was at. So as Shamia went to the confessional, so she done left out the room. In her confession, she said, bottom line, Portia didn't want me here. And that's always been clear. I love her. I love her. Not I loved. She said, I love her because I was a true friend. But I think the love could only be reciprocated if I was only a friend of. They show Kelly running behind Shamia saying, wait 1 second. I'm going with you. I am not going to let you leave by yourself. And Shamia back in the confessional said that she's made a lot of mistakes. And she talks a lot. And that she will own that. She'll own that she talks a lot. But she has never, not one time, said anything ill about Portia to any of these ladies. And she put that on everything. Well, last night, I think I showed y'all the fact that Britt Edie said that Shamia had shown her some text messages that were between Portia and her therapist, right? Back at the table, Portia's still talking her mess, but in the sprinter, Shamia is still talking her shit too. She tell Kelly, because you know what? She want to be liked. She needs to be liked so bad because of her home life and her family life is fucked up. That's what Shamia said about the person that she said she loved. See, anger speaks what the heart is scared to say sometimes. It does. So she does shit so that people can like her instead of being loyal and honest. And I don't rock with a bitch like that. That's what Shamia said in the sprinter. Then she said, where we at? Where the last thing she said? Because they do a lot of talking. Back in the sprinter, Shamia still talking shit. She said she knew that it was going to come to a head. It was just a matter of time. Then she calls Portia a low down, dirty bitch. Yet we see that it was Shamia that lost control of her emotions. Then she repeated what Portia said about Sarah sleeping with her dad's brother and said that Portia was lying. And I put in quotations. It stings, don't it, Shamia? Stings when somebody talking about your mama. She said, that's your motive. That's your motive. That was Portia's motive. And you fucked everybody. That's what Shamia said in the car. Kelly responded with insane. And Shamia is now audibly crying, saying, that's my family. You know what I mean? Just like Just like my parents, they've been married almost 50 years, you know. I put now Shami as a victim. And cut scene. Cut scene. Cut scene, this girl tripping. Sunshine said Portia was doing weird stuff towards Lauren prior to her having a child. But okay, I agree. I'm not Sunshine, I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree. I agree. But I'm glad that she was able to at least express to Lauren what it was. I wish that Portia could express to Shamia what it is. And I wish Shamia would express to Portia what it is instead of Shamia bringing up the mama. Instead of Shamia talking about Pilar. How about you tell her why you felt so emboldened to talk to Britt Edie about text messages you saw between Portia and her therapist? Why did you feel so emboldened to talk to Angela about a relationship that you and Portia had? Why did you feel so emboldened to talk to Drew Sadora about a relationship between you and your best friend? And now you want to play victim. It just don't work that way. She says this as if Portia's family is irrelevant. I put that in my notes too. When she said, I have where was it at? Child. Because I put my notes in Word. I just pulled it right back up. She said, back in the spirit, Shamia's talking shit. She said she knew that it was going to come to a head. It was just a matter of time. Then she calls Portia a low down, dirty bitch. Yet we see that it was Shamia that has lost control of her emotions, is what I put. Then she repeated what Portia said about Sarah sleeping with her dad's brother and said that Portia was lying. She said that was your motive and you fucked everybody. Kelly responds with insane. Shamia is now audibly crying, saying, that's my family. You know what I mean? And I put, did you know that Portia had a family just like you have one? She had a father. I posted him earlier in this conversation. She had a mama and a daddy. Has a mama, but she had a daddy. Her dad's been gone a very long time. Her parents divorced when she was 3 years old. She's had a lot to deal with. She had her grandfather longer than she had her father, but she still has a family. My parents been married almost 50 years, you know? Shamia, now you the victim. And I'm not saying Portia right, but what I'm saying is Shamia ain't right either. They both wrong. They both have contributed to the demise of their relationship. And I will say this, Shamia took it further than it needed to go. That's all I got to say about that. She took it further than where it needed to go. What does she mean by you fucked everybody? I don't know. I typed these words clearly off of what it was saying on the screen. I put my subtitles up when I be doing my notes, and I wanted to make sure I brought y'all every word that was said. She said, that is your motive, and you fucked everybody. That's what she said. I don't know if it was some words that she was trying to get out between that crying and it didn't come out, but I'm telling you right now, Shamia is just as wrong as Portia. Just as wrong. I got one last thing to show, and let me get it up, pull it up before we get on up out of here. Found this one. This is from last year when the season ended. I want you guys to listen to it. Shout out to Hey You from Facebook.
On Sweet 16 cast, if I've ever offended you, if I've insulted you, hurt you, in any way, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. If I've insulted you, if I've hurt you, if I've talked crazy to you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I just want to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Drew crazy. Drew is crazy. Let me see if I can find the whole video. I thought I had pulled in the whole one. I thought I had found it. But child, when I tell you this season has been something else. Is this there's Sweet 16. Hold on. Let me see if I can get to it. I think she's deleted it. I think she's deleted it because this video, she got on the same outfit, but it shows her. She's hurt because she was talking. She goes back and talks about. Shamia's talking about the rumor where Phaedra said that she was effing around with all these people, and she said it could ruin her relationship. And she said Portia didn't stand up for her, but you still remained her friend after that. So I really feel like when you don't stand in the moment and you don't call out people that hurt you in the moment, that you tend to continue to carry those things, and then it festers, and then you blow up and you look like a fool. But see, I'm the one. I'm a fester some stuff. I let people ride. I want because that's one thing a Sagittarius gonna do. They're gonna let you ride. But when we tired, we tired. When I get tired, I ain't gonna blast you out of nothing. I ain't gonna, cause I'm gonna dignify myself. I'm gonna take care of me. I'm gonna make sure I look good. But I'm really gonna check you. I had to do it last night to my daughter. Like, what's your problem? We used to talk every day when you got out work. Now, what's your problem? I have this toddler, and I got, that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna fly. I'm feeling the type of way, and we need to fix this. And you know what? After we got the phone, it was better. But as adults, that's what you have to do. You have to stand in the moment. You have to stand in the moment. You said Portia has legacy status. That is not a money issue. Her family is foundational in Atlanta, never left and built it up. I agree 100%, Queen Script. Brown Girls Rock says one thing about at least Portia talks to person about the issue and not the people around them. And I think that's where Shamia dropped the ball. And that's what I'm saying. I believe that you have to stand in the moment. Whether it hurts or not, whether you're afraid Portia's gonna be upset, you have to stand in the moment. And I didn't like that. I don't care if that's how you feel. I didn't like that. And you give her an opportunity to change the behavior. And if the behavior does not change, you know what you do? You leave them in the dirt. You leave them in the dirt and you go on with your life. That's what you do. You don't stick around. You don't stick around for 2 more years because everybody wants to be with the in crowd, right? Portia's a fan favorite. There's no getting around that. She's a fan favorite. And her being a fan favorite, of course, people are going to want to hang around the fan favorite. And guess what? Being a fan favorite, you get an opportunity to say what you want to say. Do what you want to do. I'm not going to film with her next season. If she's back, I'm not filming with her. Did you hear what she said about my MF and mother? That what Portia said Sunday? And she gets an opportunity. Believe it or not, signing a 360 deal with NBC gives her that right to say I ain't filming with her. I don't want to be in the same space she's in. And you can't make me be in the same space. You said that's me, but it would definitely show on my face. Me too. Brown Girls Rock, me too, baby. When one of my physicians told me, he said, you show every emotion on your face. I was like, no, I don't. He's like, yes, you do. He said, when something upsets you, when you puzzle, he says, all on your face. And I realized I have to sometimes I need to learn that poker face to stop showing my emotions on my face. Sunshine says, so say if Shamia decides to leave the show, I know for sure Portia may have beef with either Drew, Kelly, or Angela. Again, mark my word. She probably will. But the one thing about Real Housewives of Atlanta and all reality shows, Sunshine, is it's about conflict and resolution. That's all reality shows. And they tell you, if you Google it, that's the basis of those type of shows. Conflict resolutions. Conflict resolutions. And all housewives shows is conflict and resolutions. Live for me said, I agree, Sunshine. I totally agree. Good point. Yeah. I thought Portia said she wasn't coming back to ROHOA even when she was with Simon. So what made her change her mind? A 360 deal from NBC. A 360 deal from NBC made her change her mind. And that's just it. A 360 deal from NBC made her change her mind. And I'm sure it's worth it. I'm sure she signed for several hundreds of thousands. A 360 deal is a music contract where companies take a cut out of your career money, like touring, merch, TV show, not just records, while major record labels like these, NBC Universal, often do massive cross-platform media deals. So her doing that 360 deal makes her be able to go across the platform to other shows, and it works out in her favor. That's why she came back. But when she left the show, Andy told her the door was always open. We all heard it, that the door was open. And she probably came back because she was getting ready to leave Simon, to be honest with you. She knew that she wasn't going to stay with Simon. And I'm going to tell you this. I was a Portia fan up until she got with Simon. And I was like, it rubbed me the wrong way. And even last season, I'm going to be very, very honest with you. If you go through my Twitter, I wasn't really kind to Portia. I felt like Portia was being too hard on Shamea. But I did understand the very fact that Shamea was out here running her mouth. And why was she doing that? I couldn't understand. This your friend, so what's your beef with her? Talk to her, not to Angela. You just met Angela. And Angela out here saying you sleeping with the neighbor. Are you okay? Now you mad at Angela. Come on now. Come on, Shamea. You gotta do better. I say Shamea should stay since she's the topic of discussion. I'm not saying whether she can stay or not, because that's really not for me to say. I don't get to draw straws on that one. But what I'm saying is that with Portia's a fan favorite. Again, whether we like it or not, they're not gonna lose Portia for Shamea. They will put her off the show first. I'm just letting you know. She wouldn't have come back if her and Simon still stayed together. She might have, especially since Simon got deported by ICE and wasn't allowed to come back to the country. She might would have came back, but she would need money. Simon isn't giving her a dime. She's living off of her money, not Simon's money. She also said she was stepping away. She never said permanent. Remember, she did Ultimate Girl Trip, definitely. And that was why she was married to Simon. Shamea mask is falling off. People will label Portia, but it doesn't matter. She's unapologetically living her life. Portia knows Shamea has more to lose at this point. I agree. And I think they both have a lot to lose. And I really think, again, that Portia can call the shots. I don't want to film with her. I don't want her in my presence. Did you hear what she said about my MF mother? That's a lot. That is a lot. It's one thing to talk about me. Like I said, she probably would have been better off telling us that Portia had slept with Bolo. But she came out here and said, did you tell them that I bet they don't know that your mother tried to sleep with my dad? I would have never let that fly out my mouth, even if I knew it. It definitely wouldn't have came out on TV. But I just showed y'all back in season 8 or 7 or 8, where Shamea walks in with the gift of gab and just runs her mouth in front of Sheree. And then they run over there to Phaedra, Sheree and Portia, and they tell her, and next thing we know, they telling us that the reason why Shamea was trying to get her in trouble was because she was effing Todd and Candy. Child, just a big mess. A big mess. Patrick said 360 deal, single, and Pilar, her mother, pays the cost to be the boss. She definitely is. She's self-made. You got to be, good evening. You got to be kidding me. You already know how I feel about Portia and that Simon mess. She did not have to do that. I was done. Me too. When I say that burned me up, I was like, I don't want to fool with her. That really changed my attitude towards Portia, because I felt it was very gold diggish. You know what I'm saying? It was very gold diggish. And as she said, the optics were horrible. The optics were horrible. When I read that she was I had all hopes that Portia and Dennis would get back together, because believe it or not, you could see the chemistry between the two. We know that Dennis couldn't stop womanizing. He likes the women. He's a Rolodex, a walking Rolodex with all the names on his body of his works, as Portia calls it. But I really know Portia loved Dennis. Dennis couldn't do right. She really loved Dennis. That video, that the episode where he proposed to her, is one of my favorite episodes ever on this show. I love that episode. I love the way he methodically placed everything, and he had Lil Mo come in and sing. I love all of that. But he couldn't do right. Here's the reason why when he came over to the house and opened up that ring box this season, she lost it. Because this was supposed to be my man. We were supposed to have a family. We were supposed to have a couple of forevers. And you couldn't get it right. Brown Girl Rock says, all I'm going to say is people love it when Portia was catching here, rightfully so. But when she's being forgiven or getting along with the other ladies, it's a problem. I agree with that. I agree. And believe it or not, I believe this season, I got here late. I have to run it back. Well, thank you. Believe it or not, I believe this season kind of shows us that Portia's grown a little bit, even from episode 1. Because she couldn't have known in episode 1 that Shamia was going to do what she did. She couldn't have known that when they started filming. But Shamia kept festering until she exploded, right? Burgers Rocks, I figured you were saying heat. She kept on until she exploded. And Shamia, that's something she can never take back. My mother always told me, be careful what you say. She would always, when she would pray with me at night, she would say, be careful, little ears, what you hear. Be careful, little mouth, what you say. My mom would say that to me at night when I would pray to go to bed. And I would tell you this. Hearing the conversation from my mom about letting your words be yay and nay. What does that mean, Mom? As little as possible. Say as little as possible when it comes down to some things, because you could say the wrong thing. And once words are spoken, they can never be retraced. And we may say sticks and stones may break your bones, but sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. Words do hurt. They hurt. They just simply do. Whether we like it or not, words hurt. And they're painful. And they're painful to live with. And I believe Shamia is having to live with some of those words right now. I bet she's had a lot of sleepless nights since that episode. And I can't say that I blame her, because it's probably has changed the trajectory of the way her life is going to end up. You know what I'm saying? Even though she has a lot going on, she wanted to be on the show. She did want to be on the show. Portia did not want Shamia's cast, but always as a friend of the show. I feel like there's room for everybody to get on. There's not room for everybody to get on if we best friends, because you just proved that as best friends, we can't work together. You just proved it. And I really, honest to God, believe that. I'm not going to say that. But she did prove Portia was right. That they couldn't work together. Mine will tell somebody they talk too much in a heartbeat. Child, them older saints will do just that. You talk too much. My mama would. That was her thing. Shut up, you talking too much. She would say, or she give you that look. Child, as a little girl, I learned it. If mama looked at me, I need to mind my business and be quiet. Because my mama did not play about all that running your mouth. Tell us you talk too much, you tell more than you need to tell. And I think that's just what Shamia did. I think that, again, I saw Portia at the beginning of this episode and showing other cast members our personal texts. I agree with that. And I believe at the beginning of this season that Portia actually was not, I'm not gonna say putting it behind her, but trying to move forward with everybody. And there are things kept popping up. I've seen Portia walk away this season. I've seen Portia not want to be involved. I don't want to talk about that. Even when she did her interview with Carlos King, she said, I've been telling people that I do not want to talk about my ex-best friend. And that's fair. Or the finger pointing that way. I agree. Yeah, Portia did prove it by her actions. LOL. She did prove it. They can't work together. And again, I saw them. She said, I can come in the room and we can do a scene without it being a problem. but Shamia couldn't let it be. But let's rewind it back a little bit. They were sitting at the table. Where were they at? Weren't they? Dallas. They were sitting at the table. K. Michelle was sitting next to Shamia, and Shamia was talking under her breath about Drew. Shamia did the exact same thing when they were in Scotland getting those sashes. She did the same thing to Portia. Shamia got a little talking problem. She shut your mouth. Let your conversation be yay and nay. Be careful, little ears, what you hear. Be careful, little mouth, what you say. Anywho, you guys, thank you for coming down here, joining LadyRo After Dark. I've been down here longer than I was intending to, but I always enjoy talking to you guys. And I'm going to say this conversation, again, it just reminds me that relationships can be complicated. And we expect people to remain the same forever, but they don't. People are constantly changing. None of us are going to ever stay the same. I'm not the same person I was when I was 15, 16, 20, 21. I'm not that girl. And I don't think any of us. You said, no, I mean by how Portia was treating Shamia. Portia was showing her action. Sunshine to each his own. I don't know what to say to that one. I don't have a comeback from that. I think that what we saw Portia treating Shamia would have been last season, not this season. This season, all we saw was Portia ignoring Shamia. That I'm just being honest. All we saw was really Portia ignoring her. Last season, a little different. This season, she ignored her. She didn't give her the time of day. So I didn't see any treatment this year. You already know we got an issue, and we're not going to talk about it. Well, we're going to keep it pushing. We're going to get these scenes in here. We're going to make this money. All right? Come on, we fit to make this money. Brown Girls Rock says, answer me this. Would you trust a friend who shows personal text messages to others? I wouldn't. Portia was cordial. I just said that. The only thing I saw was, let's get in here and make this money, baby. You go, after we get through, you go to your house. I go to mine. Portia invited Shamia to her house first episode for a dinner, and Shamia didn't think enough of her to invite her to Gerald's birthday party. No, I ain't buying that one. You said a greater later live in the books. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you, living for me. I'm gonna tell you this. What I say, and sometimes people grow up, they outgrow each other. Sometimes the love is still there, but the trust isn't. Whether you stand with Portia, whether you stand with Shamia, or you think both of the women have made mistakes, I think we can all agree that friendship require communication, respect, accountability from both people. So thank you for hanging with me tonight. If you enjoyed the conversation, make sure you like the video and subscribe if you're new here. And don't forget to share this live with someone who loves talking about housewives. Until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you right down here at the Lady Rose Queendom. Good night, queens. If no one told you today they love you, I love you. And there ain't a thing you can do about it. See you in the next video.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining the Queendom. Until next time, keep nurturing, keep cultivating, and keep awakening the queen within. God bless you. We'll see you next time.